Think your coloring books are just for pencils? Well, think again. What if I told you that the papers you have in your stash could transform a flat drawing into a mixed media piece that is bursting with character? Let's see how ordinary can become extraordinary. Hello everyone, it's Dragana at Saacibo. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you all refreshed after the holidays, and there's only a few days left until the end of the year, and I think we have just enough time to do our annual wall calendar. It has become almost like a tradition. This is the third year in a row. We've done this one in 2024. First we made the cover. Last year we just add some improvements, but today I wanted to do something different, and of course there's a new freebie. And this is going to be so much fun. It is a wall calendar freebie, but it's a coloring one, and I'm going to use one page from the calendar to demonstrate to you this new technique of coloring. And I had so much fun when I tried it out that I don't really feel like going back to the regular coloring book techniques, because they tend to be a little bit tedious and I'm impatient. I just want everything covered really quickly. So I'm going to share with you this technique today. The video is going to be about that. But before we start, I just want to show you what's in the freebie, and also a version of this same calendar that is already colored, and that one is in my shop. Let's take a look at that one first. That is the cover page. That one's meant to be colored as well. For January, I picked a tea set. Then for the February, we have a cat on a couch sleeping indoors still because it's winter where I live, I guess. Then for March, we have some mushrooms in the forest. April, we have a nest of eggs. It's usually the time around Easter and the nature is waking up, and eggs symbolize renewal, I guess, or rebirth. And then we have a Tiffany lamp for May. I don't know why, I just love these lamps. Okay, for June we have a water lily with a dragonfly in a pond. And then for July we have a butterfly and some nature. For August we have a little girl who picked some wildflowers. September is a gardening theme. Then October, it's a bit of a cooking theme. And then November, we have a house and a tree without leaves, and we're going inside of the house and spend more time indoors. And for December, I picked this plant that just symbolizes Christmas, and I've also included a version with color in case you need some inspiration or a guide on how to color these. And there's also a version that is going that way in case you decide to print this calendar as journal pages, which you can do. That's what that looks like. That's when I print that page on the front and that on the back, and when I fold it, it's a journal page. Okay, and I've printed these as well, so it all fits on 4 sheets of paper, because you print 2 on that side, then you print 2 on that side, and so on. If you're having trouble figuring out how to print these so that they go from January through to December, you can just do this. Grab a sheet of paper and then cut it in half. Then cut it in half and then fold it. So that would be a booklet type of calendar. Okay, and then you write. So this here is your cover page, and that would be your back. And then that one. So when you open it up, you will know that's how you meant to print it. Okay, so when you select those 2 images, make sure that one is on that side and that one is on that side. When you go inside now, you want that image to be on the inside, so you can do this. Just draw yourself these squares and then you'll know. Okay, that is 1 page, so you would just print it. And then here you have the January, I'll just use numbers, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, and December. And then you just open them up, and then you'll know exactly how to print. You can even take a screenshot now. So the first page, you print December and January, and then on that same page you load it into your printer again, and then you print February and November. Then on the third sheet of paper you print October and March. You load that back into your printer, then you print April and September. And for the last one, you print August and May. That's August and May. If you turn it around, load the same sheet, you end up with June and July. And that is in the middle of your little booklet. I think these would also be great to quickly make and give to your perhaps children and grandchildren who love to color. You can also use these to insert in a journal that you're making. You can only print one page perhaps. If a journal is for a full year, you can spread them all out throughout the journal or print them one after the other. It's up to you. So I just want to show you, if you decide to make a booklet like this, how you can do it quickly. I just grab a piece of cardstock here. I'll move these away. Okay. So I'm gonna mark here and perhaps here. And I'm gonna use just the regular stapler. Okay. Like so. And like so. Now it is attached to this. So what I do, I just push these on the inside. And there it is, my little booklet. Coloring booklet. So I just fold it now. So that's if you decide to do it journal style. The freebie is on my website, free for you to download. Link is up on the screen and also below the video. Once you are on the free download page, close all the ads that pop up. Look for the calendar thumbnail. Click on it and it should open up in a new window. Now you can select each of the images to print or save. You do not need to register, pay or install anything. I do not ask for anything in return. If you click on any of the ads by mistake and they ask for your payment, subscription, your details, just know it is not me, so please do not provide your information. If you wish to share this calendar freebie with your friends and family, please share the link to my website. Please do not sell or redistribute in digital form as a freebie anywhere else. It is okay to use printed version of this calendar in the journals that you make and sell. We are going to try my new technique on the January page. So I'm going to actually take it out and I'm going to put that in. And we'll do the other ones perhaps at some other stage. And before we start with the project, I just want to quickly show you this one. This is in my shop, which currently has 30% of sale. You can just print it out and you hang it on your wall. You can also use one of the boards and just attach, or you can add to that one that we've done last year. If you haven't seen that video, I will link it down below. There's actually two, the first version and then the second version with improvements. Okay, so let's just quickly look through these. Okay. I will leave the link both to my shop on the website and also to my Etsy store, whichever works for you. This is going to be a lot of fun, I must say. Okay. Let's now continue with the project. On gonna get some scrap paper here first, because this is going to be a bit messy. I just want to show you this. I've printed that on just a large book page. Then I printed it on this music score. And I had an old jelly print. It was also done on scrap paper. I printed it on that because I plan to collage papers onto this. So I thought maybe I'll cut out some rather than trace around these. And one more thing, I've printed this on thicker paper. I use this sketch pad, heavier paper, 200 grams, and it has a little bit of a rough texture, suitable for drawing and maybe even light watercoloring. And the reason I did that is because I plan to use glue and maybe a bit of acrylic paint and whatever I feel inspired to. So ordinary copy paper is just not going to work. So use some cardstock or heavier paper, at least 200 grams. And I've got my box of scraps, and I also have some other printed papers and some napkins, and I don't know what I'm gonna need. That was also a recent freebie, and I was thinking that perhaps that one would be good here to use as a wallpaper. Now remember, with this technique, we're not going to necessarily follow this. If you prefer to just do traditional coloring with colored pencils, markers, or whatever, you can certainly do that if that's what you enjoy. Today, I just want to show you something different that, who knows, you might end up preferring or liking it more than the traditional coloring technique. So I was thinking of cutting the whole tea set from one of these. Then there's also the table that I have to consider, and I was thinking of, where was it? That one. Remember when we did the house pockets? There was that freebie too, with all these marbled walls. So I could use that as the table, or one of the wood textures. Let me just see if I have one. That one of the wood textures. Okay, for the window, there's a window and some curtains. I was thinking, I had this scrap from one of the kits, and I thought maybe I can just have a little bit of that showing as if it's a view through the window, and then maybe put some rice paper over. Okay, there should be a wall there too. Because I plan to add these by cutting either that or that, I don't have to worry about cutting all the little bits around. I can just glue it up to there. My advice is to start like this. You look at the image and you think about it. That seems to be closest to you. And then you have the table underneath. Then you have that wall in the distance, and you have that wall, and it seems to be that part is the one that's meant to be furthest away. So that's how you glue things. You glue first what you can see in the distance. So I'm going to glue that one there. I'll go over a little bit because there's that white piece. And here I will go only as far as that. That's where that ends. So I don't need to have the whole thing. Somewhere here. Okay. I can glue that straight away. Okay. Just adding glue stick. You can use any glue you want. I might even switch to white glue and maybe even go over with Mod Podge in the end, or some regular white glue, because I might actually decide to do a little bit of painting over. Okay, see how a little bit of that design is showing through, and it looks really good. I don't know if you can see it. The lines are showing through, which now becomes part of that design. If I use that for the wall, then I will go with the wood for the table. Oh, let's just do that. Okay. I'm gonna grab my pencil, and maybe you can't see, but I can see where the window is. Okay, just go like this. Now I can just cut that. And it doesn't really have to be perfect. Just remember, use that as a guide. You know, I have to decide what I want to be seen from the window. Tear that. I don't need the bottom bit. Just glue that first. So have a look at your stash of papers and see what you have that you might like to use for this. Now I think it's time I cut this. I'll just cut together with the table first. Oh, my picture is already looking good. Okay, now I want to have a different paper where a table is, and I want to have that curve, but you don't have to. You can certainly just have it flat. It would work fine. I'm going to use this just to trace that curve, okay? And I can make this out. Let's just cut that. Perhaps I can just cut that. I think by cutting it straight away it will give me a better sense of what it's gonna look like. And now the tea set. Let's just cut it. I think by using this technique with coloring books, you can really make it your own. You can really have fun and make it really unique. Now you see here I have a little bit of space in between, and I can cut that just with a knife. Just making small cuts, and it doesn't have to be perfect. If it's difficult to cut these areas like so, you can also just cut straight, for example there where the line is, and then use your scissors to cut, because later on when you glue it, it won't matter if that is joined. All right, did I get everything? I think I did. Could ink them a little bit. Just to give them a little bit of depth. Okay, now the basic setup is done. Just adding like a shadow underneath. Okay. Put that aside. Let's just use some gray ink to add a little bit of shadow here. Just behind that teapot, and there, maybe even like so. I'm going to use this as a mask. I'm imagining the light is coming through the window, so that means that this wall is going to be a bit darker than that. And here, see how I've drawn that line there, so I'm gonna put that there. Just like so. And now that is a little bit darker compared to that, and over there as well. That there, I think it needs a little bit more white, like to show that the light is coming through there. So I'm just going to use Posca pens. Is this white? Yes. So I'm just going over. I'll just do a little bit of shadow here, just with a pencil. I'm gonna add the curtain now. And need something that is see-through. That one might look interesting, I think. Let's just try this, and if we don't like it, we don't have to use it. So let's say if I have it start there, I do want to make it look into a ruffle. I'll just do like a series of little folds. I could have added the curtain before I've glued the table. So now I'm just going to cut it a little bit. So I think here I should really use just white glue or Mod Podge. Just go with Mod Podge. torn it. It's all right. And I'm just gonna go over now. Just going in between those folds. Might as well just go over the whole area of the wall. You know, one way of building up a shadow there is to stamp something. Just like that. Just stamping with a little bit of some sort of pattern that is just a little bit darker than the background. And you can also do something similar with lighter colors, for example with stenciling some white. I have those bricks, might ruin it completely or it might look all right. I'll just grab a little bit of white acrylic. Just go there in the corner. I think it's all right. I'm going to glue the tea set now. I might as well just use the Mod Podge. Might as well just go over with some Mod Podge. You can just use white glue for this. And one thing I forgot to do is protect this piece here. I get so carried away. So I could have just glued a piece of paper over like this, so I don't get glue and ink and stuff on it. I'm gonna go over with Mod Podge everywhere. Let's leave that to dry a little bit and then we'll continue. Seems to be touch dry, and because I've used Mod Podge, now I can only go over with the acrylics or alcohol markers. I think watercolors or coloring pencils or even just pencils are not going to work now on top of Mod Podge. First I'm going to work on these curtains. I want to add a little bit of like shadow and highlight. I'm going to go with acrylics because there's a bit of texture there, so it would be hard to do it with markers, I think. Let's just add a little bit of white first, just like a light wash. Not everywhere, just to make those folds more obvious. I won't go all the way down because that's meant to be kind of like a shadow. And just go like this. Remember how we made these folds when we were gluing the napkin, so I'm just gonna follow that. Basically make it just more obvious. See, it's so much easier if you use just a paper with a pattern, or in this case it was a napkin. If I wanted to paint these curtains with that checkered pattern, ooh, that would take a long time. I think this is much quicker. So we would need some darker colors now too. Either darker or cooler to make it look like a shadow. So I think the easiest would be just to add like a little bit of gray or black, very little, like almost see-through. I'm gonna turn it this way. No, that's a little bit too much. I'm gonna pick some up. Just adding more here. Perhaps a little bit there. And maybe a little bit there. Just like to give the illusion of that curtain being in front of the wall. We can also add a little bit of red, imaginary still life. Okay. And you see how there's a little bit like orange color from the outside, as if it's a sunset. Maybe if we just add a few touches of orange. Look at my palette. I'm bad. Like, I have lots of palettes, never washed them, so I've been using these plastic lids or whatever I have, and once they're just too dirty, I just throw them away. Okay, let's see. Perhaps just there in that area where the window is. I think it just gives a little bit of warmth. I think that's all right. I love the curtains. Okay, now the wall. Maybe here, just in the corner, a little bit more of the shadow. I'm kind of happy with the wall and the curtain. Now, a tea set. I have some of these markers, Posca pens. There's a permanent white marker. So I think it would be easier to work with them on a smaller detail. Now I have to add, perhaps, I'll do that with acrylics. See if there's a liquid. know, the floral pattern that is there on porcelain, I could totally disregard that and just do something else, or I can just go in with markers. Just to add a bit of detail. There's that reflection of the light. The Mod Podge is a bit shiny. Okay, now I'm going to go with darker red. Just a little bit. A few dots. And I've got some green here for the leaves. You know, it's easier to add these details first and then add like light and shadow and go over this if necessary. Some leaves sources too. There's also a bit of text showing on that jelly print. I want some highlights on the actual roses. Got this pink, coral pink. So I'm gonna go in just a little bit here. Just to lighten up these roses. I think I need to add a bit of highlight where the spoon is. Maybe. Something like that. I have a silver Posca pen. Let's see. It's kind of really watery. What sort of gray is this? Oh, it's brown. Maybe. I'm combining alcohol inks and Posca pens. Which is a little bit weird. Okay, what color is my tea set? It looks like grayish blue. So I might leave that color, but I'm gonna add some highlights. Okay, this is like, it says blue gray. Might be good to use for the shadows. So I'm gonna add some where the shadows are. making this up. I'm imagining that the light is coming from here, so and, you don't have to add too much detail. It can also just be in one color. Just wish there was no reflection. It's really hard to see. Sorry, I've gone quiet. Just concentrating. I think this blue-gray worked alright. Okay, let's try with this. What is that? Ivory. Works alright. So here. I think I want to add a little bit of that orange and yellow highlight what we've done here. Just over that. Be like a reflection to give it a little bit of warmth. On the table as well. One more thing I want to do. You know how we've done those shadows with just ink? I think I want to go a little bit more with just acrylic. Some detail here. I think it's done. This is a really quick way to make a nice, very unique painting. You do start with a coloring page, but you build the textures and the background and most of these with papers that you've got, and then you just basically add some detail, add some light areas, some shadow, and you end up with a really nice picture. I'm happy with it. Okay, it is coloring, but it's not really. It's more collaging and then doing a little painting. So I'd say mixed media, but we do start with a coloring page. So I sincerely hope you enjoyed this video. Since this is the last one in this year, I want to wish you happy and prosperous new 2026, and may you have lots and lots of time for crafting. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope I see you next year. Bye for now.